Hello, and welcome to another edition of Empire of Thorns, where we have our lovely Azure Rose wandering the Spring Court looking for her beloved King Faran. She's told that he is somewhere in one of the great rooms, so she is hunting him down.
When she finds the king, he has an array of papers and folders and um, a couple of notepads in front of him. And he's kind of like perched up on the chair with his like knees drawn, like his chin resting on his knees, kind of looking at all of it like, what do? He has this like, his face is screwed up into the most precious, like, holy fuck, that's a lot of squiggles. And he like tilts his head every once in a while, very lupine like, and he kind of like pokes at a paper as though touching it will make it happen. It's just, it's hilarious, but it's also kind of heartbreaking because he just, oh, it's God knows he's trying, but he can't. He's just, he can't even right now, and it's so clear the evens that he can't on his face.
When she sees this, she sort of raises an eyebrow and makes her way over. Is there something wrong, my dear?
He'll kind of look up at her, chin like still on his knees, and he'll say, I don't. He'll kind of look back at the paperwork. I don't understand.
Well, court documents are quite complicated. Let me see if I can help you.
He'll kind of um he'll kind of what he's sitting on is like a bench to like a long table, and he'll kind of scoot over so she can sit down too.
She'll sit next to him.
The High Ser said he didn't have time to help me.
Well, isn't that his job?
It is, but it's also my job. But I don't know how to read.
Like you don't remember how to read?
He'll kind of look at her and he'll say, I never learned how to read.
Oh. Well, then that's something we'll have to work on, isn't it?
He'll chuff and nod his head.
How old were you when you were taken?
He'll think. And he'll hold his hand out to about where a 3-year-old would stand.
Oh. You were very young.
He'll nod. My family before I was taken, they smelt of sweat and smoke and whiskey and beer. I had other siblings, but we all had to fight over food. And our parents didn't really let us in the house. We had to sleep in a shed in the backyard.
She blinks a couple times. That's not good. So there are many things that you still need to learn.
One thing I learned from a very young age is how not to be hungry. It's why I left. I was hungry. And he'll kind of tilt his head and he'll say, my older brother, but I don't remember his name, he would take all the food and he'd give some of the food to my sister and some of the food to my other brother, but I was the smallest. And they never gave me the food, or if they did, they gave me the littlest food. And I realized if I was going to live, I had to leave. So, one night, I left. I just walked away. And I walked and I walked and I walked. And then I found wolves. A pack of wolves. And they were eating, he'll kind of try to think, a deer. And the mother and the father wolf, saw that I was alone and fur naked and cold and sick. And at first they thought to eat me too. But Father Wolf told Mother Wolf that he thought I could be strong if I was given good food and taught to run with the pack. So they took me in. Mother Wolf had just lost her cubs, and so she was sad, and she didn't want more cubs. But then she grew to love me. He'll kind of wiggle down and smile when he thinks of Papa and Mama Wolf.
When he gets all happy, she smiles and puts her hand in his.
He'll bring her palm up to his lips and kind of kiss it and nuzzle it against his hand to be pet. He wants to be pet.
She'll scratch behind his ear.
But I don't know how to read. I know that says 2, and that says the, and that one says stop, and that says, he'll kind of tap one. It says, and he'll kind of like screw his brow up. Farron, that's me. And he'll kind of look up happily.
That is you.
King Farron, comma. He knows a comma. And he kind of puts his finger like under the word. He kind of like, he starts to make the first syllable sound. He notices that part. He'll kind of tilt his head.
Vernal?
Vernal?
Yep. Oh, that one's a hard one.
He kind of like looks at the next word. Like it's if Vernal was hard, fuck this. He'll kind of look at it and he's like, sir.
It's a weird one. It's sovereign.
He'll kind of blink like, what? He actually kind of chuffs and like makes a move like a lupine, like you confused him. And he'll boop the paper with his nose for getting his Muhammad so it hurts. And he's like, oh, ouch.
She pulls his face over to hers and kisses his nose.
He's got tears in his eyes, and he's like, ow, thank you. And he'll look back. King Varan, comma. That means a pause, right?
Yep.
King Varan, Vernal Sovereign. That means me, King of the Spring Court, right? I'll kind of look at her like confused.
That's right.
How is there? He'll kind of tap at the G. How is there that letter in here, but you don't hear it? Spring. G. Spring. G, right?
Sometimes some of the letters are silent.
Then why are they in the words? Like his brows go up.
That's a question for someone a very long time ago, and I'm not exactly sure.
He'll nod as though that answer satisfied him.
She reaches into her purse and pulls out a notepad and a pen, and she writes a word. Like this word.
Night. Kanai.
She takes her eraser and erases the K.
Knife.
Yep. Knife.
A blink. Why?
I don't know.
Why silent letters? That makes no sense. Why waste letters? Like, back in the day, I know this, when they used to print books and things like that. He's like scratching behind his ear, by the way. When they used to print books, they'd have to put he looks like he's trying to think so hard. He's like working his brain right now. When they used to have to make books, I saw something on this. Princess Bella was talking about it. They used to have to put all of the different letters on a... He'll kind of think hard for a moment. Printing block?
Uh-huh.
But you had to put each character, that's what letters are called, right?
Yep.
Onto the printing block.
One at a time, yeah.
Why would you put letters you don't need? There could have been so many more books. This seems as though if he could make a royal decree to banish all silent letters, he would.
Well,
this is the stupidest of ever stupids.
Well, my dear, you have to think of it this way. When they first started the written language, everything was spelled completely different. Sometimes the words were completely, and the languages even. I mean, how many people do you hear speaking Old English? Or even Irish? Even a good Gaelic? The words are completely different. So it's sort of an evolution over time, and it hasn't quite caught up with silent letters yet.
He looks as though everything you just said, about 2/3 of it went in and made sense.
All right, well, I'll take it.
Yeah. He got it. He got the point of what you were saying. It's just some of the big words in that didn't make any sense to him. He's like, evolution? Yeah, he'll actually ask, what's evolution?
It's how things change over a really long time.
He'll tilt his head.
Have you seen the fossils of dinosaurs?
No. Where does... What? I can see dinosaurs? Take me to dinosaurs.
It's just their bones, because they don't exist anymore.
But Where are dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs are gone. But
But where are their bones? Let's go. Take me to dinosaur bones. He'll pick her up and pull her. Pull.
after we do your paperwork,
He starts whimpering.
come here, come here.
He'll nuzzle into her and then sit down at the paperwork. What the paperwork is it's two things. One is the expenses of the court in the past month. It's basically the court's budget, which he has to sign off on. So like each of the budgets has a different bracket. You know what I mean? Food, and then like it has like, you know, supplies, blah blah blah. Each of those things he has to sign off on. The other thing that there is basically a tally of is the people who have been brought to the court, like, or who have been saved recently, and a comparison of who else in the overall courts was brought to the other courts. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like all the newcomers and where they were dispersed to.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, he has to sign off on that too. Like, what information was gathered about them, you know, what court they were brought to, if any of the courtless were said to have known to pick up members, quote unquote. They don't really have a membership thing. It's just more you don't have a court, but they tend to band a little bit together to kind of keep themselves a little safe.
Yep.
It's a court without a court, basically. So he has to kind of understand all of those and then understand all of that and all of this, and he's just like, ah! He doesn't want to do it, but he does. It's the problem is he does want to do it, but he doesn't, and he's like, the lupus is starting to take over, and he just wants to like eat it now.
Make it go away. Make it stop.
Make it go away. Make it stop. But it really is to the point where Claudio really kind of can't do it for him anymore. It's between two things. If he's going to continue to stay the Spring Court King, he has to do his duties. There are just certain things that he has to do, and if he doesn't do them, what's the point of him being king? You know what I mean? He would genuinely be an inefficient king. The second thing is Donati has a lot of stuff to do, and he's been doing Ferran's half of the job for quite some time, and he's not doing him any favors by doing it anymore. And now that especially he's been getting out and socializing a little more, and basically he's been, you know, trying to kind of branch out, he doesn't really have time so much to do this for him anymore. So he's being tossed out of the nest.
Well, she will sit with him and take the time to go through each one of the things.
I'm going to give him one more die, actually, because you're sitting with him and helping him. He had 2 successes to sit there and handle all of it. He'll sit there, and he gets kind of twitchy at points, and there's points where you definitely have to kind of stop and, like, kind of walk him through it slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely not learning the big words today. But it's enough that you can get him through the paperwork where you're fairly certain he understood what was going on.
Okay, cool.
And he'll kind of wiggle when you're done, and he'll sign off on it. Like, he'll sign everywhere he has to sign, which his signature is an X. Because his signature is an X that is essentially like a almost kind of like a sideways, you know, fucking, you know, cause ribbon. The cause being his idiocracy. Apparently. It's his loop. He makes a little loop, basically. If you wanted to teach him how to actually sign his name, that's something she could probably do right now. That actually she thinks she could tackle.
Alright, so she will, again, take that little notepad,
Hmm.
and she will write out his name. Alright, let's give this a try.
He has the pencil in his mouth, but he'll kind of drop it. Sorry. He'll put it in his hand.
She'll check it and make sure that he's holding it right, adjust it if necessary.
Like minor adjustments. It's more like he held it right, but if he kept writing, it would tire his hand out
Mm-hmm.
needlessly. So he'll basically he'll basically he'll wait for her to instruct how to write his name.
She'll, on the page in front of him, she'll actually write it a couple times,
Hmm.
just so you can see how the loops and swoops of everything goes. See, like this.
He'll. This actually is an area where he might surprise you. He's got a high dex and a decent crafts. Whoa, hello, 2 successes. He actually, it's a little jittery. And it's kind of, it's not like perfect. He hasn't developed that hand-eye coordination yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually neater than you thought it would be. You can read it, and he actually like brightens the fuck up. Like that light that normally kind of is coming out of him, it's like a little sunburst for a second, and then he kind of wiggles, and he's like, "I wrote my name.
You did.
I wrote my name." And he like bounces up and down. I wrote my name. I wrote it. It's King Ferron. King Ferron. King Ferron. That's me. That's my name. And he'll actually like jump up and like whoop, and like kind of like somehow he manages to do this rather majestically. Like it's like, how the hell is somebody celebrating that much and that enthusiastically and that childlike and yet still maintaining their crown? But he'll kiss your character. He'll squish your character's cheeks and give her a pop on the lips. A little longer than a short kiss, but it's not like, a lusty kiss. And he's like, I did it, I did it, I did it, with your help, with your help. And then he'll hop literally onto the bench again and kind of crouch down and hug his knees again and put his chin on it.
She'll reach up and scratch behind his ear.
Head in your lap. He lays down.
Do you want to keep trying this?
No.
Not right now.
Not right now. Later.
Not right now, but is this something that you want to do every day or two?
Yes.
Alright, I'll stop at the bookstore and get some books that'll help us.
I know one book, but I don't know how to read it. But it has a bunny inside of it.
Has a bunny inside of it. Would you like that book?
But it's a bunny that you can pick up, but you can't take it out because it has a leash. There's a leash in the bunny's head, but you're supposed to pet the bunny. He'll run off. Like he literally just skids off. And he'll come running back with the book, pat the bunny. I used to play this book with Bella. And he'll kind of open the book up. And he'll actually like pick her up and walk her over to like the fireplace, which is roaring so hard because it's so cold. And he'll snuggle into one of like the big chairs and put her on his lap. And he'll open up the Pat the Bunny book. And he'll take out the bunny with the leash in its head. And it's the one that has the bunny that you can kind of move between the pages.
Yep.
And he'll kind of like he'll move it and he'll kind of point to it and he'll say, "What does this say?" If it helps, the first page is Pat the Bunny. It's a kid. It's a book meant for fucking infants. So
yeah.
If you want, we can say this scene can end with her teaching the king to read an infant book. And he will actually, if she takes the time to sit there and teach it to him, he can actually learn how to read the book, like this first go. It's very simple.
Yeah,
So.
she'll spend the time with him.
Well, by the end, he can by himself read her the book Pat the Bunny.
So by the end
And
of that,
he'll kind of nuzzle into her and kiss her ear. And he'll whisper that he loves her to her. And he wants to be able to read her Shakespeare one day.
hopefully by Christmas.
How many days away is that?
It's a little over a month.
He'll think about it. And he's like, you have a lot of faith in me.
Do you want to go see those dinosaur bones?
I'm not supposed to leave the freehold. He kind of remembers.
Oh. I have an idea.
What?
She digs around in her bag and she pulls out a little iPad. And she goes on, like, the Smithsonian website or something and pulls up a video of the dinosaur bones.
Oh my lord, another sunburst. You have your couple of next hours taken.
So she'll snuggle in with him in front of this giant fireplace and watch documentaries on archaeology and dinosaurs.
The king now has a new desire for this event to be over so that he can go see the dinosaur bones now. And then he wants to figure out if he can chew them.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good idea, but we can visit them.
He's going to be banished from the Museum of Natural History for chewing the bones. I'm ready to end if you are.
Sure.
You gonna sign us out?
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And this has been another scene of The Empire of Thorns.
Bye! Yay!